It's not all glam and fortune when it comes to being a celebrity. They are constantly in the limelight getting good and bad attention. Unfortunately, in some cases, celebrities have people that get a little too obsessed with them and spend hours stalking and harassing them. From Taylor Swift's stalker to Beyonce, even Jodie Foster. Today, let's look at some of the scariest celebrity stalker stories. Starting off this countdown, we have Taylor Swift. Over the years, Taylor Swift has had to deal with a number of stalkers. One scary experience happened to her in 2015 by an obsessed fan named Frank Edward Hoover. It started with him sending Swift's father disturbing letters saying that he was going to kill their entire family. He said, and I quote, "I'm going to end all the Swifts one day because I can't stand that virus shit your daughter spreads." He said that he was the real son of God and that the Swift family was an evil family of devils. In 2016, he was arrested after following Taylor Swift and her family from her concert to the airport. He then approached Taylor and said that he needs to accompany her wherever she goes. Even restraining orders couldn't keep him back. In the end, he was sentenced to 10 years of probation. Sadly, Taylor has received a number of threatening emails and letters from obsessed fans. One Texan man was actually arrested after writing to Taylor that he was going to take advantage of her and then kill her. Moving on, at number 9, we have Beyonce. Back in 2009, Beyonce received threatening letters from a man who was convinced that the real Beyonce was dead and was now replaced by an imposter one. This imposter one was the one that killed the real Beyonce. It's crazy, I know. So he was threatening Beyonce, being like, "You killed the real Queen Bee. I'm gonna come for you." He then sent her a book full of notes on religion because he thought that it would help her. In 2013, she actually had to amp up her security game for her concert in London as this man was going to be there. He sent emails threatening her, saying that he was going to be there and was going to sneak past security and get to her. In the end, she filed and won an anti-harassment order. Moving on to number 8, we have Justin Timberlake. In 2009, a woman named Karen McNeil showed up at Justin Timberlake's home claiming to be God. That's not all though. She said that she was destined to rule the world with Justin by her side. And as you can imagine, Justin was very creeped out by this. Not only that, but she showed up in a taxi at Justin's house with all her belongings in the car, as if she was just ready to move in with him. In the end, Timberlake filed a restraining order against her, which resulted in her having a major freakout in court. In our 7th spot today, we have Lindsay Lohan, which, first of all, I have to say something. Lindsay recently posted a TikTok in which she says her name, and turns out it's pronounced Lohan, not Lohan. Like, we've been saying it wrong for years. My whole life is a lie. I've been pronouncing it Lindsay Lohan. It's Lohan. Anyways, okay, I'll get over it eventually. In 2011, Lindsay tweeted out a picture of a photo of a man that had been stalking and threatening her. She tweeted out, and I quote, "This is the Freemason stalker that has been threatening to kill me. While he is trespassing, I'm actually scared now. The blood in the cult book was too much." Sources at the time confirmed that Lindsay was indeed being stalked, but they didn't reveal much more information on it. Then in 2014, she was being harassed again, this time by a man named Daniel Vorder Woolbeck, who thought he was actually married to her. He called himself King Lionheart and believed the two had deep conversations on the daily, which he was just making up. Lindsay was so scared that she was actually scared to go outside. She was nervous and was constantly looking over her shoulder to make sure that she wasn't being followed. In the end, he was sent to prison for 12 weeks before being subjected to mental health treatments for 12 months. In our 6th spot today, we have Gwenyth Paltrow. In 2000, Gwenyth Paltrow had a fan constantly send her letters, flowers, and explicit material. Not only that, but he would continually show up at her parents' house and would lurk around her own home. The fan didn't think he was doing anything wrong in court, and he said, and I quote, "If a man gives a woman unconditional love, she is blessed." But Gwenyth did not think the same way. She testified saying that she was being terrorized by him and was constantly having nightmares about her stalker and being harmed by him. In 2001, he spent 3 years in a mental health facility. When he got out, he went right back to his old ways. In 2016, he was back in court for, again, harassing Gwenyth and her family. This time, when Gwenyth testified against him, he said he was going to cut out sin from her body with a scalpel. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with Jodie Foster. Now, this one is very, very creepy, mainly because when it happened, Jodie was only 14. So if you didn't know, Jodie got her breakout role in the 1976 film Taxi Driver with Robert De Niro. Great film. In the film, she plays a young escort, and a man named John Hinckley Jr. became obsessed with her. He apparently would watch the film on a continuous loop. For years, he was stalking her. He would send her letters and poems to her professing his love for her. In fact, he thought he would impress her by assassinating Ronald Reagan. He actually tried doing so, but he failed. And in the end, he said that if he had known that he never had a chance with Jodie, he wouldn't have tried to assassinate the president in the first place. Moving on to number 4, we have Gigi Hadid. In 2015, a man named Marcel Porter tried to break into Gigi's New York apartment. Not just one time though. He tried to do this 5 times. Not only that, but he would leave creepy messages for her on her Facebook page. He said things like, "I love you, I know everything now, wait for me, soulmate. And Gigi, I'm at the hotel in Queens trying to find the gym that you went to while working." He also would comment on her outfit she wore so that you knew he was spying on her that day. Like in one post, he said, "Love you with the purple pants and shades, my soulmate. Tell your friends I say hi, especially Taylor." Creepy. In 2017, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Coming in at number 3, we have Kylie Jenner. Pretty sure all the Kardashian sisters have had a scary stalker situation in their life. In 2016, Kylie Jenner had a terrifying stalker situation. A man named Marvin McGollins repeatedly tried to break into Kylie's house. He even rammed his car into her front gate to try and knock it down. He did this on 2 separate occasions. Then later, he turned himself in for the unsolved murder of a man, and police later connected him to the unsolved murder of another man. He was arrested for both crimes. Kylie's lucky that it didn't end badly for her. She was literally being stalked by a cold-blooded killer. I should also note that the men he killed were both homeless and that he was unprovoked, so he just did it just cuz. In our second spot today, we have Ashley Tisdale. In 2013, Ashley Tisdale was being stalked by a man named Nicholas Floor. Floor was obsessed with her and had threatened to shoot her and her then boyfriend. When exploring his Twitter, there were thousands of creepy tweets directed towards Ashley. Let's take a look at them. He said, and I quote, "You'll be able to look in my eyes and know exactly what I want to say without even saying it." Another tweet read, "My body is yours, and even as friends, I effing love how I make you feel like mom. Maybe we both got issues because nobody's perfect." And another read, "Your future, Miss Floor, and I'll be your sweet stuff, little mama. You're such a good girl, you only pretend to be bad for me." So not only was he creepy online, but he was also creepy in person too. One time, he disguised himself as a delivery man to try and gain access to her home. He was later sentenced to a year in jail and a year of outpatient counseling. And in our number 1 spot today, we have Keira Knightley. Now this has to be one of the strangest stalker encounters out there. In 2016, Keira Knightley was faced with a stalker who would frequently visit her London home. When there, he would write notes in chalk on her door. He even once left a USB at her house with cat-themed music on it. After Keira reported it to the police, things got even weirder. One night, she woke up to him standing outside of her door, meowing into the letterbox. It ended with her husband chasing him until he left the property. The stalker, Mark Revel, was arrested and sent to a psychiatric hospital in 2017. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. Just a reminder, be safe out there. With that being said, let's move on to our comment shout-out portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video, Top 10 Celebrities Who Tried to Warn Us About Rita Ora. Jared Quinney commented, "Never even heard of her." And that says a lot, because a lot of people were commenting that, so you probably recognize her music if you heard it. MLakeQS commented, "ASAP Rocky in my mind really called himself out more than he called her out. If he was in a relationship, he shouldn't have been messing with her in the first place." Thank you. He literally was just like, "Yeah, I was fooling around with Rita Ora while in a relationship. She has a big mouth. She ruined it for me." Like, dude, what are you talking about? You shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. So her telling people, like, it's... Anyway, you guys know what I'm trying to say, hopefully. All right, guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know in the comments below what video you want to see from me next, huh? With that being said, while you're down there commenting, smash that like button. Obviously, subscribe to our channel. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya. Bye.